Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today's story is one of those political sagas that could easily be turned into a courtroom drama, except it's playing out in real life, right here in South Africa. We are talking about the African National Congress, the party that has been in power since 1994, now facing the very real possibility of having its assets seized over a debt that runs into the hundreds of millions of rand. And yes, the number is jaw-dropping, R102, for 65,000, all tied to election campaign banners. This battle with Ezulweni Advertising is not new. It began years ago when the ANC commissioned banners for its election campaign. Ezulweni delivered the goods, the election came and went, but according to Ezulweni, the payment never arrived. Fast forward through years of back-and-forth legal wrangling, and here we are, with a Supreme Court of Appeal judgment confirming that yes, the ANC does indeed owe the money. Now, in most situations, when the country's highest courts speak, the matter is settled. But in this case, the story didn't end there. Ezulweni claims the ANC breached an out-of-court settlement that was supposed to resolve the dispute. Instead of receiving their payment, they got more delays. And Ezulweni has had enough. Their legal team is now threatening to execute the judgment by seizing ANC assets. Let that sink in, not just a polite letter asking for payment, but an actual legal move to take property, equipment, or whatever else the party owns to recover that R102 million. This isn't just a legal fight. It's a political embarrassment. The ANC is already battling financial challenges, with previous reports of struggling to pay staff salaries on time, cutting back on events, and leaning heavily on donors. Having assets seized could be more than just a logistical headache, it could send a symbolic message to the public that the party's finances are in deep trouble. And of course, because this is South African politics, social media has been having its own fun with the situation. There's been talk of a mysterious figure nicknamed Paulisto, referred to as the TG or GOAT, a sort of inside joke among political watchers. It's not clear whether Paulisto is a real player in this saga or just a clever internet nod, but it adds that extra layer of satire we've all come to expect in political scandals. On a more serious note, legal experts say asset seizure is not a bluff. When a creditor gets a judgment from the Supreme Court of Appeal, they are within their rights to enforce it by attaching assets. This means the ANC could potentially lose office furniture, computers, or even vehicles. While it's unlikely that Ezulweni could touch government property, the ANC is a political party, not the state. The public optics of such an action could be devastating ahead of an election cycle. We also have to remember the timeline here. The original dispute dates back to an election campaign, a time when the ANC was spending heavily to secure votes. Now, the fallout from that campaign could be haunting them in the next one. It's almost poetic in a tragic way, the very banners meant to win them votes could end up costing them credibility and cash. The party's silence so far is telling. No official statement has been made addressing Ezulweni's threat. That could mean they are still in behind-the-scenes negotiations, or it could mean they simply don't have an answer yet. Either way, the lack of a public position allows speculation to run wild. And in politics, perception can be as damaging as reality. Some political insiders are already warning that this case could be the tipping point for voters who are frustrated with the ANC's handling of money, not just public funds, but its own internal finances. Opposition parties will no doubt seize on this as a campaign talking point, painting the ANC as financially irresponsible and unable to manage even its own affairs. But here's where things get really interesting. If Ezulweni goes through with asset seizure, the story will no longer be confined to political circles or court documents. It will become visual, tangible, something ordinary South Africans can see. Imagine the headlines and the photos if trucks roll up to Luthuli House to cart away office equipment. Whether you support the ANC or not, it would be a historic moment in South African politics. The irony is that this dispute could have been resolved quietly years ago. The ANC could have paid the amount, or at least negotiated a manageable settlement, before the courts got involved. Instead, they now face a situation where the debt is legally confirmed, the interest may be climbing, and the creditor is fed up. Of course, there is always the possibility of a last-minute deal. Politics, after all, is full of unexpected turnarounds. Perhaps a wealthy benefactor will step in, or the party will dig deep to find the funds. But given the size of the amount, more than 100 million rand, even a bailout would raise questions about where that money comes from, and whether it could have been better spent elsewhere. In the meantime, this saga serves as a reminder that even the most powerful political organizations are not above the law. Court judgments don't bend for party loyalty. Contracts don't magically disappear after elections. And in a democracy, financial accountability applies to everyone, including the party in power. So, as we watch this unfold, the big questions are, will Ezulweni follow through on its threat? Will the ANC find a way to pay? And what impact will this have on the party's image heading into the next election? Whatever happens, you can be sure this won't be the last we hear of the R102 million banner debt. In South African politics, the only thing more reliable than campaign promises is the fact that a scandal will always find its way into the headlines. If you found this breakdown informative, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more political commentary, and let us know in the comments what you think will happen next. Will the ANC pay up, or will we see the first ever political party asset auction in the country's history? Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.